Welcome back. I am so pleased to have as one of our guests today, Executive Director of the very busy, very important organization Franklin Tomorrow. Mindy Tate is here with us.
Thanks for having me, Dolores.
And there's a lot of things to talk about with Franklin Tomorrow and what Franklin Tomorrow does that we could fill up we could fill up a movie time. But what I want to focus on today, Mindy, is your program for On the Table. So tell us a little bit what that's about.
Well, On the Table is going to be centered around the date of October 30th, Tuesday, October 30th. Franklin Tomorrow is an almost 20-year-old community visioning and engagement organization. And in the past, we've done visioning using dots where people could go to different locations and place a dot next to a goal or strategy for our community that they felt was important. On the Table is a new way of doing this, as well as hearing from people what they hope for the future of our community. It will also allow us to engage people in conversation, hopefully with people they know, but also with people that they're meeting for the first time, to talk about what's important in our community and how we can make it an even greater community.
And the real kickoff for this is Breakfast with the Mayors.
Right. Breakfast with the Mayors is one of our events, and you're on our board and are really gracious to be on that committee as well as a couple others. But Breakfast with the Mayors is quarterly, and it's held at Rolling Hills Community Church. And the next event is October 30th at Rolling Hills. It will start at 7 a.m., and we are so fortunate that Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant does our breakfast, and they'll be providing breakfast. But if you've ever been to Breakfast with the Mayors before, that's normally theater seating. But on October 30th, we'll be seated at table rounds where people can have these conversations led by table hosts. And we anticipate that our normal attendance of 350 to 400 people will swell to 500 people. But it's free. All of our conversations are free, and we hope that people will join us either at Breakfast with the Mayors or at one of the other public events.
And speaking of that, who would need to be there?
Well, every citizen needs to be there. We hope to engage through On the Table citizens who are new to our community or may not feel that they've had a voice in this process. The great thing about an event like On the Table is when you introduce food into a meeting, it becomes a gathering. And so we hope that it will make people more comfortable to come together and share and meet someone new. We're patterning our program after, this has been done in communities across the country. It started with the Chicago Community Trust, but we're patterning our program and being mentored by the folks in Lexington, Kentucky at the Bluegrass Community Foundation. And some of us were lucky enough to go up and participate in their second On the Table experience in March of this year. And we learned a lot, but what we learned most is that food is a great equalizer, and it brings people together, and it's a great way to talk. We'll even let you talk with your mouth full if you have a thought, so you have to do that.
And how can people be involved? You can host or attend an On the Table conversation.
Right. There is a lot of information on our website, franklintomorrow.org/onthetable. And on that page, you'll find updated information about what it means to be a host or how to join the conversation. And then also links to click on if you want to host an event in your home or in your office, and those would be private events that you would determine the guest list. Or if you want to join the conversation, you can click on a link there also to join right now the conversation for Breakfast with the Mayors. We'll be rolling out more information about public events throughout the community on October 30th and the 72 hours around that after October 1st.
And hosting or attending an event is not a huge commitment. So talk a little bit about that.
A host is really a table leader. We're not expecting that host is going to sit there and take down every word that is going to be said at their table. We're going to provide training at several different times during the month of October, easy training as well as conversation starters and a host guide for that day. The most important thing that a host will do during their on-the-table experience is make sure that everyone has a chance to be involved in the conversation. And secondly, they will make sure that they secure the participant's email address, because how we will use this information moving forward is we will send an online survey link to everyone who participates in a public or private conversation where we have their email address to complete that survey. And then we'll be releasing those results in probably January in conjunction with the City of Franklin and the results of their National Citizen Survey they'll be conducting to shape our work for 2019, as well as to inform elected officials what the citizens are truly feeling about what's good in our community, what can be better, and what the citizens can do to be involved in making it better.
And if you have a topic that is very important to you, you're passionate about, and you think Franklin would be a much improved city if we did such and such, this is your way to bring forth that information.
It certainly is, and what's important is that you may want to participate in a public conversation like Breakfast with the Mayors and bring that to the forefront of the 8 to 10 people sitting at your table, but you may also want to host a private event that brings together people who share your interest or passion, and they can participate. Then they will get the survey, and that will enhance the ability of this to be a topic. One of the things that Franklin Tomorrow has been working on in the last few years is connectivity, definitely sidewalks, trails, and greenways. That's what the citizens told us in our last visioning process, and we anticipate that more connectivity will be requested, even though we've seen great sidewalk projects completed recently along Highway 96 East and Highway 96 West. But we've also been looking at the feasibility of an inclusive playground for our community, and we know that those communities or divisions of our community that work with those with special needs are very interested in that, and the city is as well. But we can provide support for those projects by bringing those topics forward and with the citizens' support.
And it takes a person to spearhead that and to lead a discussion that's very passionate about it.
Right. And so if you're going to host a private conversation that is a directed conversation about a specific topic, that's great. But we would also encourage you and those others who are passionate about it to participate in a public conversation, because we're going to have people from different sectors of our community who have different priorities, but we all need to be listening to each other. One of the great things we heard from Lexington was that 70% of the people who participated in On the Table and responded to the survey said they met someone new. In a community growing as rapidly as Franklin and Williamson County, being able to meet new people, being able to get involved and get engaged in our community really is an opportunity like this doesn't come along, because it will be people from throughout the community in different locations as well as public locations. And so it's going to be a great opportunity.
And, you know, I could almost guarantee you're going to find someone, if you participate in this, you're going to find someone that is passionate about what you're passionate about and wants to see, ways to make Franklin even a better place than it already is.
For Franklin Tomorrow, one of the reasons to do this is our mission is to engage the community, foster collaboration, and then advocate for a shared vision for the future of Franklin. And in our last visioning, the citizens, and we define that as those who live, work, and play here, told us that they want Franklin to be a community with a robust economy, vibrant neighborhoods, distinct character, and great people. And from there, we talked with individual groups and other sectors to determine task forces and work projects we would undertake. And from this experience with On the Table, we anticipate that this will shape our work into 2019 and beyond, and help us determine speakers for programs like Breakfast with the Mayors, our monthly Frank Talks lecture series, and also shape where we might look for examples of good city leadership in a growing economy, in a growing city like Franklin. You know, one of the things we've done in the past is we've taken our Vision City visit and gone to communities across the United States that are experiencing growth similar to Franklin. And we are happy to share this idea of On the Table with those communities and others, even across Williamson County. It would be great if other communities in Williamson County undertook this, say in 2019 or 2020.
I think this is a fabulous way to be involved in the community and to have your voice heard, as we say when we talk about On the Table. Tell us about the survey, and what does Franklin Tomorrow hope to accomplish after this survey? What do you want to do with this information you're going to gather?
As I said, we are working to develop the survey right now and are identifying a research partner, university research partner to work with. We hope to release the initial report of the outcomes of the survey in January to both the public as well as city officials. It will ask what was discussed at your table, but the survey will also ask the citizen what is the most important topic of interest to you. Would you be willing to become involved? Perhaps ask them, do they vote? Because we have a problem with voter turnout in local elections, and we'd like to encourage people to stay engaged past On the Table. And we certainly will communicate that to those people who participate in On the Table.
I also think city and county administrators and leaders are going to be very interested in what comes as a result of this, I think.
As you mentioned when you introduced me, Franklin Tomorrow is an established and very busy organization in our community, but we're growing so rapidly that we have the opportunity to introduce people to our community and to our organization. Breakfast with the Mayors draws regularly 350 to 400 people, but we anticipate this will be an even larger event and will be a great way for people to become involved in our organization, whether it's just by attending Breakfast with the Mayors or looking at some of the other events we do, like Frank Talks, on a monthly basis.
And Mindy, give us a website one more time as we go to another topic.
Franklin Tomorrow, so our website is franklintomorrow.org/on the table for On the Table information, or you can sign up through that website also to get our monthly or bi-monthly updates of events and activities going on in the community. But franklintomorrow.org, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. We're all over social media.
Thank you so much for coming and talking about Franklin Tomorrow and On the Table.
Glad to be here.
And we'll be right back.